Right, welcome guys. This bloody Paul Feig is still banging on about Ghostbusters 2016. This time, he's trying to blame Trump. I don't really understand it. It's just comical. I think people have memory hold this film because obviously it came out eight years ago now, right? So a lot of the reasoning behind certain things happening, etc., have been memory hold, and he's essentially relying on that. But, this is a guy with serious Trump derangement syndrome. You can like or dislike Trump. But to blame the backlash on Ghostbusters 16 and sort of put it on a political level is just insane. It's insane. There were many reasons why this failed. Politics was not one of them. It just was not. This is like correlation equals causation situation. It's just nonsense. Absolute nonsense. So let's take a look, right? This article is nonsense as well. I mean, it's going to come from a sort of a place of ignorance. It says here, while some of the responses were just flat out misogynistic rants, the biggest issue for a lot of fans was that they weren't getting a direct sequel with Peter Venkman, Ray Stantz, Winston, blah, blah, blah. Misogynistic rants? There might have been some. Weren't that many. So it says, a lot of others were willing to give the movie a chance until they saw it. And yet it was woefully bad. It was absolutely atrocious. So Ghostbusters 2016 was, they say here, far from an unmitigated disaster. A solid first act soon gave way to tired gags, pointless cameos, and a ridiculous ending that really just served as a retread of the original. It was just ridiculously stupid. Reviews were decent all the same, 74% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think that's from critics, if I remember rightly. And there's a perception that the film's box office underperformance was largely down to the intensely negative reception that greeted it before it even hit theatres. But this is wrong anyway, because at the end of the day, ladies and gents, if a movie is good, it doesn't always do well, okay? It doesn't always do well, right? We can all understand that. But if a movie is good, largely, it will find an audience. And then the chatter about that movie will become more positive. Now, this movie has stood the test of time. 8 years. 8 years, no one likes it. 8 years. And we had nonsense comments from a whole bunch of the cast. So this lady here, can't remember her name, but she gave just ridiculous comments. This woman here as well, she was doing awful comments about audience members. They used Chris Hemsworth as the butt of jokes. The whole thing was just a big spit in the face to people that, one, liked the originals, and two, largely were men as well. So while speaking to The Guardian, director Paul Feig reflected on the film's release, and this is just the nonsense that this guy comes up with. Bill Murray had publicly said he didn't want to do another Ghostbusters at that point. Feig responded when asked about this movie. Harold Ramis had died. Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson were there. But half the team felt weird. It had been 30 years and Bill and the gang were so iconic. I didn't want to do anything that hurt the original movies. Sorry? You didn't want to do anything that hurt the original movies? You shouldn't have made the film. Oh, here we go. Politics. The political climate of the time was really weird. With Hillary Clinton running for office in 2016. There were a lot of dudes looking for a fight. While I was getting piled on Twitter, I'd go back and see who they were. So many were Trump supporters. Then Trump came out against this. He was like, they're remaking Indiana Jones without Harrison Ford. You can't do that. And now they're making Ghostbusters with only women. What's going on? And got all upset. Everybody... He literally blames Trump for the movie's failure. Everybody then went cannibal. He turned the movie into a political statement. As if to say, if you're pro-women, you're going to see this. If you're not, then I don't think it mattered at all that the main characters were women. But people brought a lot of baggage. I mean, this is the biggest gaslight I've ever seen for a film. Like an actual gaslighter. There's women that hate this movie. Are you telling me they're not pro-women at the time? They were like, oh, I'm not pro-women, I'm not going to watch this movie. This man is unbelievably mental. 8 years on, this guy's still talking about this film. I understand, because it's probably utterly destroyed his career. But this is dog shit. This is nonsense. So he literally blames Trump, because he's like, oh, Trump came out against this. And then everybody went cannibal. It turned into a political statement. No. Actually, a lot of your actors were being overly political on Twitter and Instagram and things like that. And they were being abusive of people. They were being abusive. People didn't like it. Like, that matters. You can't say that Trump turned the movie into a political statement. What? If you're going to do that, you need to cast some light on your own cast. Pretty dumb way of saying it there. But your actors. Cast an eye over on your actors and what they did and said at the time. Because there was a massive, massive pushback about this. And to say that, well, you know, you'd go watch it if you're a pro-woman, is that why it absolutely bombed then, is it? Because you can't say that now in a world where Barbie made over $1 billion. Barbie made over $1 billion because women went out to watch it. This movie failed, not because women aren't pro-women. That's just insane. Like, actually insane. Is he relying on people just being dumb, forgetting stuff? What is it? What a bizarre, bizarre turn of events. Like, actually bizarre. Insane. Super odd. So what do you guys think of this? I mean, this is just... yeah. Actually ridiculous. Does anyone remember what these people were saying? Because at the time, they were quite nasty. But hey, look, you know, it's easier for Paul Feig to blame Trump. Again, love or hate Trump, it doesn't really matter. The point is, Trump didn't make this movie fail. That's just... that is actually nonsense. Yeah, people don't like their movies being replaced. I mean, there's a big Ghostbusters fandom. You can't sit there and be like, well, the new movies have done well, so I guess, you know, the reason is Trump didn't say anything. I mean, what the fuck? This guy's insane. And I'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop it down below. With any quotes that these people said as well at the time, I'd love to hear it. But yeah, insanity continues for Paul Feig. And now he's just blaming Trump.